Just
Can you see us now?
no.
Well, we're for sure. Oh, okay. We're for sure live right now.
Oh, and we are on.
Hey everyone.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay, gotta turn that down.
Yep.
We're there.
All
We're
right.
there.
Let's try this over again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Big D and MJ here with the Jobber Report. It is July 23rd. It's a Thursday. It's our weekly 7 p.m. Eastern scheduled time. Today we're going to be talking about a swamp fight. I want to talk about it. We're going to be talking about Raw. We're going to be talking about Prime v Prime. We have some ideas for some crazy matches for y'all. So if anybody wants to chime in with the comments and just tag along, talk along with us, see what your ideas are on Prime v Prime, just hang tight. We're going to explain the concept in a little bit. But I want to start this. I want to ask you a question, Big D. What the hell happened to the hacker?
Who knows? They might still be going on. I have no idea.
That your response there was perfect, though. Just nothing.
Yeah, well, because the thing is that um, they didn't show that, and I remember seeing because what's his name? They all thought was the hacker.
Mustafa Ali or
Yeah, Mustafa Ali ended up showing up on Raw.
yeah.
But the way that I watched it, it wasn't on. It wasn't on there at all, and I completely forgot until you just brought that up. I completely forgot that I had saw that he had showed up on Raw, and um, perhaps that's a good thing because I was I mean, maybe.
Which is why I'm asking about the hacker, by the way, because
Right.
that just kind of
Right.
disappeared.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it has for a long time. And whether or not that was planned, they just out of sight, out of mind. But that's like once Mustafa Ali comes back, it's gonna be brought up again. So maybe that's what they wanted to, and maybe the hacker will start coming back around. But again, I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of things that they just nothing's going right. Like with the creative, with the storylines, the stories are just garbage right now for the most part. At least like the parts that they should really work better on. People that need it, lift them up to put them over. The people that need to be put over aren't because their storylines are horrible.
So you're thinking the storylines are a little horrible right now, or they have
I
been?
think, yeah, they have been. I actually just had a lengthy conversation earlier on a different platform. We discussed the pay per view and just wrestling in general. Kind of like how we have been the past and the present, and just the way it's been, and just that creative has been. It's not even anything to do with the coronavirus or everything that's going on now. There's no excuses really. At least not enough, I don't think, to really affect everything like what's been going on the last couple months. As far as I was always, we've always we used to watching Raw and Smackdown every week, watching it, and now like I'm the one that I just feel like I'm like the last person to start just watching the highlights and just like watching the shorter versions of the episodes, which isn't good because then I miss things like Mustafa Ali returning and Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If they can just, I mean, if do something, I don't know. If the hacker is still going to be a thing, then they have to do something this week about it. Something's got to happen. Um,
Yeah, it's like that was the rumor was there was Mustafa Ali, and it was like
right.
cool. I mean, it's like I wanted it to be CM Punk, of course, but that's just me. It's like what
And who
see
knows? It might be. It might still be. Who knows?
that would be cool.
It's
Uh,
like I kind of didn't want it to be Mustafa Ali. I just felt like that was just too easy. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good and all, but the way that they were doing the hacker, it seemed like. I mean, I guess that's just the way they hype up anybody anymore, and they usually end up being a disappointment anyway. So maybe it's better that Mustafa Ali wasn't, because he is good talent. So, but to put him in that Cedric Alexander and um,
Ricochet.
Ricochet, that's just that just seems to be like a blacklist of wrestling right now. Like those are the guys that are in the dumpster fire. It feels like not under the good eyes of Vince McMahon. He doesn't. Seems like they're just being punished. So to put him in that group, it's like you already kind of feel the flop. And
Mm.
plus, you don't need a 3-man party again. There's just no need for a faction.
Uh, so I watched that. Okay, so I watched that, and I guess I have been complaining about that style of wrestling for a while.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, it is kind of like lucha. It's very high flyer, uh, but and it's really acrobatics. And these
Right.
guys, like they are. I mean, this is not to say like they're incredibly talented people. Like I wouldn't be able to do half of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as wrestling goes, for me, it's like it's those kicks in the head that just I lose my mind with those kicks in the head. It's like uh, uh, Shawn Michaels used to have a finisher called Sweet Chin Music, as you well know, and that
Mm-hmm.
was uh, what happened between. So when Bobby Lashley came out, he basically got Sweet Chin Music twice. Once by I think twice by both Ricochet and the other guy, and then Mustafa Ali also gave him one, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, it used to be called a super kick, you know, and now it's like
Right.
Bobby Lashley took a knee. He didn't even go down. He took a knee
Right.
after basically 3 kicks, I guess. And it's become a more of an acrobatics show and a lot of
Right.
athleticism, but as far as like the storyline, like
And,
what's actually happening as far as storytelling in the ring, um, there's still a few that are doing that. I thought the Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre match
mm-hmm.
was pretty good. The girls are usually good, but they also kick each other in the face a lot.
Right.
Um, I think maybe because of athleticism, maybe not to say the girls are not as athletic, but they don't do as many athletic things
Mm-hmm.
as these really high flying kids and stuff. So that's why a lot of times girls, to me, like nowadays, have more realistic matches. You know, like
Yeah, that makes sense. It's more on the ground. Um, it's almost more, working the body. Um,
yeah, and they're also they're not doing like real crazy moves. I mean, they have some crazy moves, but most of the time it's like if you watch Charlotte Flair, man, she's just beating up. She's beating up somebody, and it looks realistic. Um, She's not kicking somebody in the head a bunch of times, and if she does, it's devastating. If she knees somebody in the head, it's devastating. They don't just come right back up and go for more, you know. So, but that's also like there's a lot of really athletic kids,
Oh yeah.
in WWE. So it's like, okay, well, I understand that that's the style, but I just remember we grew up with a whole bunch of, you know, storytelling in the ring itself, and you didn't even know what it
Yeah.
was, you know, but you felt it.
Right. Again, that could be the, you know, I mean, just kind of look back and compare the athleticism
Oh yeah,
of between the wrestlers, especially in the I can't remember the correct era, but the era of gimmicks. You know, your big boss mans, your Mounties, your, you know, Earthquake, Typhoon. Like these guys, they're going to be ground. They're going to be stuck on the ground. They're not getting up on the turnbuckles very much. Even the people that did, they tended to be. There was those very far in between. You know, you had the Rockers, um, the Head Shrinkers, uh,
bushwhackers.
Jimmy Fly's not Bushwhackers. I don't think they ever left the. They just
He just reminded me of that, man. Not you, but you talking about that reminded me of bushwhackers.
Yeah, it's just there wasn't as many, you know, athletically excelled guys. I mean, and plus they were a lot older. It wasn't a young man's game really. As far as the guys that were there, at the top, um, it was more that technical um, wrestling, and because I mean, even you know they might have had a lot of missed spots and uh, botches and stuff, but it's very unnoticeable. That's for sure because they weren't as risky.
Yeah,
You know, you're seeing a lot of botches now because you know they're able to be that creative. They're able to try and do these, you know, moves that you don't usually see, and they're hard to do. And there's no doubt about that. So it's like when they have that botch, it kind of sucks to see it. Then you're kind of like, well,
yeah. The margin of error.
right. And if they did do it, if they did succeed, then I'd be like, oh wow, like there's your wow moment, there's your OMG moment. Um,
Um, but
so
you also they're not doing themselves any favors by using super kicks left and right,
right.
or doing like, you know. So
And,
Mustafa Ali's finisher is 460, whatever he
yep,
calls it.
yep.
That's a hell of a move, man. If you botch that once, that could. I mean, you watch Brock Lesnar trying to do. He couldn't even do 180, right?
One, right, yeah, yeah,
Oh no, he did 180. He went over 180, but he didn't complete the
right,
360.
right, right. But I mean, give him credit for trying.
Oh God,
Um,
yeah, but I mean, you couldn't help. It was like you were laughing a little bit when you saw it. You're like, oh shit.
right, right.
But then
You're
you're
like,
thinking
oh,
that's like what, 6'4", 6'6"? Like how tall is Brock Lesnar? Is it?
yeah, 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 he's probably around there probably.
Yeah,
That's
imagine
about,
imagine you
that's all.
imagine you Big D trying to do a moonsault. You know?
No,
No,
I
see,
get I get that all the time.
moonsault.
Like, no, well, no, just as far as, oh, you should be a wrestler. Like, you know, once they find out like how tall I am, you know, my size, the first thing is it's now gone, which is nice because I got tired of the oh, you should have played basketball, you should have played football. Now it just goes straight to, oh, you should have been a wrestler. Like, and I'm like, you know, my first response is that's a hell of a long way down just to get right back up. Um, and it does like over and over, like, I mean, unless I'm just like, you know, someone that just doesn't go down, but that doesn't happen these days. So I would lose a match against Rey Mysterio. Um, but
I mean, look at it this way:
no,
Great Khali never went down.
Well, no, I don't think his legs allowed him to.
No.
Either they just didn't bend that way. The Big Show very rare. I mean, if you go down, you're going down one limb at a time. You're just chopping them down. So it's not too bad, but no, doing flips and no.
Everybody's trying to employ you, Big D. Everybody trying to give you say, oh, you should be a wrestler, a basketball player. You're like, and you should shut up. You should let me be whatever the hell I want to be.
So it's funny. It's like I love football, I love basketball, I love sports, I love wrestling, but they actually do it. Like I know, nope, I know my limitations, and I know my I'm realistic with myself.
We're speaking about realism just a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna try to employ you, man. Um, but I'm glad you're doing the jobber report because I'm having fun.
Heck yeah. And if everyone's listening out there watching, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. You know when we're on every Thursday, 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock pay-per-views. Yeah, so
Yeah, we started on 6:30 in the pay-per-views.
I believe we're. Well, I didn't check today actually. Um, as far as subs,
I think we're at 18.
18. Woo!
All
Look
right,
at that.
that's
We're
18
up,
more
we're up
people than we had.
up around 10 or so this week. So hey, that's awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Um,
So
well, we'll keep going. We'll keep throwing things at you. And speaking of keeping throwing things at you, do you want to talk about? I feel like this is I don't know if this is PTSD at this point, but do you want to talk about the swamp fight? Do you want to get a little more into detail? Because I've had time to digest it.
okay.
I've had a little bit of time to digest it, and so
Yeah.
it tastes like crocodile.
That's a swamp. That's a swamp.
Yeah, I feel like
Taste.
Ric Flair's shoes, man. That's what I feel like.
Or yeah, I was say Jake the Snake, but that's obviously Snake, not
I'm
Crocodile.
gonna watch that documentary though, Resurrecting Jake the Snake.
Ooh,
I don't know if you're aware of that or familiar with it.
no, I am not.
Oh, you know he was
I'm
dealing
not.
with a lot of drug issues, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, he was. I know he was really messed up. And shout out to DDP
Yeah, Diamond Dallas Page,
getting in
man.
there and saving a lot of lives. It is nice to see him on AEW. It is nice to uh, hear him on the mic when he is on the mic. There's not much going on in AEW that I can really talk about. I don't think.
Well, they have that same style, really, like the.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring that up with the your super kicks. Like they probably legitimately say it's a super kick party at least 2 or 3 times an
Really?
episode of eight. Yeah, yeah. You got the Young Bucks. That's like that's one thing that they've always done throughout their career though, is they have a spot where it's just super kick into it, and the guy, he gets hit and he falls down, or he gets hit and then he like kind of spins around, and then boom, another super kick, and then another super kick, and it becomes a super kick party.
And the announcers actually mention it.
Right? Yes. Yes. They. Same
It's
thing with
good to
like
know they're letting them.
running, running through the ropes.
Oh, and diving.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. But anyway.
Everybody, everybody's waiting.
On the,
What was it?
the
The spear through the ropes.
with
Yeah,
Big E.
that was cool.
Yes, and I love that. Like I wonder if there's a video or something on you. Yeah, maybe there. So well, there should be all the ropes because he's had some really good ones, and the guys that can actually take that bump off the side of the ring and uh, go down on the ground with him. Uh, like, yeah, that's a really good, and that's so powerful.
But yeah, they're not catching him. It's a legit bump.
Yep.
You know, it just
Yep.
having to stay on the like after that, you just stay on the ground for a little bit.
Right.
But I also fear Big D that I don't fear. It's the truth. But you know, it's like I feel like I'm getting older now. You know, it's like it's that the new wrestling just sounds like farts to me now. You know,
Oh, boy.
you
They smell
know.
like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like how can you like after watching Stone Cold and The Rock, it's really difficult to watch the young guys now.
Right.
There's even okay, so I'm gonna digress. Even though I was just asking about the swamp fight, but I'm gonna just throw the Big Show and Randy Orton at you, and I don't know if you got a chance to watch that.
Yes, I did. I
Okay,
did.
so at the very end of the match, when Randy
Yep.
Orton is talking to Big Show, you know, just he's breathing hard on him, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
he said like something like another legend killer, or another legend down. It sounds like it sounded so written, like somebody wrote this for him to say like you wouldn't think that like if he's a legend killer, he doesn't need to tell us he's a legend killer. Like that's what he does. Like
Right. It's not. Yeah.
it was it just sounded so like out of place for me. Like
Yeah.
and mind it, like I went to school for writing and directing, and I'm not doing that. I'm not claiming that I'm any good at it, but at least I've paid attention to some things in class. One of which is just bad fucking writing. I don't know how else to say it.
Right. And it's like, I mean, are they doing it to consistently reference it because when Legend Killer was like when it was big, like that was his thing. That was the crowd that's watching now probably wasn't watching wrestling at that time.
Well, Big D, I get it. I get what you're saying, but if announcers weren't talking about it the whole fucking match, it would be
Oh,
different.
right,
But
right.
I mean, they're just
Oh,
like, it's like trying to drive sports entertainment home, trying to drive legend, like terms like that, just constantly trying to. It's like they're just hitting you over the head with these things. Like we don't want you to forget.
yeah, right,
Uh,
right.
it seems like a little shystery, if that's even a word. But like I don't know, it screams of like the writing is like I listened to a Stone Cold podcast when he talked about between the time he left the WWE, like when he didn't want to do the job for Brock Lesnar, he didn't want to lose to Brock Lesnar and then walking away for about a year from
Mm,
WWE. He's like he went from having like a couple of bullet points on the paper to talk about, and then when he came back, they were handing him out scripts, and
right.
he always felt um, well, I guess he always felt like he wasn't the same after, you know, and I don't feel like some of these guys are actors.
Right.
Most of these guys, it's like they want actors. Like not everybody's like The Rock, and even dude, have you noticed how Rock's first movies he had to go to acting classes? All these when Rock first started, he wasn't a good actor.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but when you watch the show, The Rock was fantastic. He didn't seem insincere or anything like that. So, um, I just I don't know. Like I can hear those things that like the writing, and it's so just over the top, and it's so just smacking you in the face all the time that it's like, did they really make you say that? Like, did you really have to say that? Like maybe the wrestlers are unaware of that too, but it just seems like it's like kind of half asleep as far as what's actually going on in the ring, and it's I don't know. I don't know, but I
Yeah.
just remember seeing that. I'm like, everything was great with the Big Show and Randy Orton until that,
Right.
and that just really took me out of the game. And I'm like, my God, am I just a bitch? Like, this it can't be. Am I just being a stickler for this? And then I also realized that, dude, I loved this product. Like, I loved wrestling. I mean, I still try to. I still enjoyed a lot of things. I enjoyed most of the pay per view. And I enjoyed some of Raw, you know. So
Yeah, I
hey,
did. I didn't Raw too much. Um,
you didn't enjoy Raw?
I I know I did. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. It was it's nice to have the Street Profits back. They still got it. They got to figure something out as far as working on having more than three tag teams.
Yeah, they're the
Um,
champs now, right?
well, they've been the champs. They've been the longest reigning champs since the. I can't how they referenced it. They said it. Or the champions were back in I think it was 2016. But they're the longest reigning tag team champions
That's good.
since it might have been possibly New Day before they went over. I don't, but I'm not too sure. But either way, it is. But they really haven't defended the titles up against. They really haven't done much with them.
Hmm.
But that uh, crossbody, whatever you want to call it, the splash by Montez Ford. How much air that guy gets,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that they added
Mm-hmm.
that little 180 spin, and the way that of course Michael Cole says the adjustment that he made in the air. There was no adjustment. He was purposely doing that little had like 180 spin or whatever turn with that splash. But I mean, the athleticism on both those guys
It was
is
airborne.
yeah. The Viking Raiders, they have to be utilized a little bit better. I feel they're good, big guys, good wrestlers, and even Andrade and that other
Garza.
guy. I don't know why I have such a hard time. Yeah, it's Garza. Now they're and then they keep teasing like they're going to be splitting up here pretty soon. So now it's like, are they going to be down to two tag teams? I'm trying to think of the other tag teams um, on Raw. Uh,
I have no idea. Like,
yeah, there you go. Like, I can't. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Was going to say Ricochet and Cedric Alexander, but that seems to now be a three-man tag team. Uh,
well,
Mustafa.
well, with the way they were jumping around with Mustafa, it seemed like they were all a team.
Right, right. So it just seems like
And then who the hell are they gonna fight?
exactly. There's no other. I mean, the only other three-man faction in wrestling right now is the Forgotten Sons, but Wrecker, he
Yeah,
hasn't wrestled in about 2.5, 3 years almost.
they have been forgotten, as you said at the pay per
Then
view.
the Undisputed Era down in NXT. Um, well, that's four guys actually. Undisputed Era. So I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going with that.
Well, you got MVP Lashley and Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, I guess so. So,
And the
still,
R
I mean,
Truth.
so they got to work on these tag. But then again, Vince McMahon doesn't like tag teams, and that's why you saw the Revival not get. That's why you saw them leave, get released, whatever. And actually, they had a match on AEW this last week, and that was a really, really, really good match. It was awesome to see them in action, and I was like, man, WWE really messed up with them. Um,
Well, it feels like I don't know, man. It feels like, and I don't know what's going on. So, but it just feels to me like it feels like Vince McMahon's like he's showing, like his age is showing at this point.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, something's got to happen. I don't know, it's just because until he goes away, nothing's gonna it's gonna be all hidden. He's not gonna change. He hasn't changed in 30 plus years. Um, so something's got to. I mean, maybe these ratings will really force a hand. Obviously, they're not. It's not going to force them to. At least it shouldn't force them to, dismantle the company or anything like that. But they got to do something. That's for sure. And then what's the rest of Raw? Dolph Ziggler and McIntyre moving that story forward. I love that. Next week we got a rematch with McIntyre will have the stipulation, and he'll announce that right before the bell rings. And I wonder what that's going to be. And then I think that's where you might see Dolph Ziggler getting the upper hand a little bit in the feud, and really spark that fire.
if Dolph Ziggler loses this time, he's not going to have much of a.
Right.
I mean, they already kind of took the steam. Like, it's like, listen, he got to name his stipulation, and he did, and it was in his favor, and Drew McIntyre still won. So it's like, on one hand, it's like, great, excellent.
Well,
He's a great champion.
They told that Ziggler saw it in his face that fear, that that uncomfortable, in his he felt that, and like he saw that, and so he's like, and Ziggler's really great at chipping away at the little cracks that we don't see, but the other guys, it's like really annoying, and it's just like really getting underneath the skin, eventually exploding and just like defeating him, getting through that cracks of that armor, and then defeating him at some point, perhaps. But right now, I mean, I think that's going to build up really, really, really good going into SummerSlam, which is 5 weeks away, I believe. So you guys start getting these, because I mean, SummerSlam, it's one of the big four. If not, I don't know if you consider Survivor Series one of the big four anymore, but SummerSlam is definitely at least the number two best pay-per-view that everyone always looks forward to. So we got to stack that card up with good matches and good storylines, and I think that's the direction they're going with that. I like it.
Well, I see. I'm even for SummerSlam, I'm gonna pick Dolph Ziggler to win, and it's gonna cost me again. So
I'll remember that, and I'll pick Dolph Ziggler.
And watch, like I picked Dolph Ziggler 2 pay-per-views in a row. He doesn't win, and then I finally go against him and he wins.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, what is it gonna? Is this gonna be where somebody makes a return and helps Dolph Ziggler win, or something like that? Dolph Ziggler right now, besides Baron Corbin, is the heel of heels. Maybe not the most hated, like Corbin, but as far as being a heel, Ziggler's definitely got to be number one, I think. So I like it. I like the direction they're going. I just find it really weird when. One thing that bothers me about Ziggler is his little flat iron hair. I don't know. I hate that look around. I like the curls. But anyway, I don't know what that really says about me. But I'm always about what they look like, what they're wearing. But hey, that goes with what their character is. So
well, absolutely. If it doesn't look right to you, you're gonna say it.
Right. Exactly.
I think that's what it says about you.
Yeah. Um,
We're calling out Dolph Ziggler's hair.
yeah, yeah. Come on, guys, get that. Yeah, I just don't like it. It's just yeah. But I like the way that the direction that feud's going. You got the women's and Sasha Banks and Asuka. They'll have the rematch next week to determine the women's champion. Um, no interference allowed. Um, whatever it's
And was Stephanie at any previous Raws, or did she just appear out of nowhere? She's like, oh,
this just appeared out of nowhere.
yeah,
Um, it's funny that because well that's the thing, and I was thinking about that when they were showing the replay of like Bailey putting on the referee uniform, and there's no general manager anymore. They don't have that. They don't have that authority. They don't have the bosses. It's like you know who's running this stuff. So it's like
yeah, that was
Steph.
very strange.
So then of course it's Steph. Of course it's like Stephanie when it's a women's confident like problem. Like what if it was the men? Like who would be on that screen saying, "Oh, like really like William Regal in NXT." Like who's that guy for who's the authority figure that would have come out? I don't think Stephanie would have been the one to be like, "Oh, hey guys, stop fighting. This is what's gonna happen."
I know who a great general manager could be of Raw.
Okay.
It starts with R, and that's the truth.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. He needs more. He needs more spotlight.
Yeah, our truth is he's entertaining.
Yes.
Half of the time, I can't even understand what he's saying. I mean, you can, but he just kind of like it's like he's in his own world, which is excellent. But he can talk,
He
like
flows like nobody else.
yeah, and he's very charismatic, man. And I think our truth is over. Like whether you have the crowd or not, our truth is over.
Completely. And like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I mean, well, documentary on him. That was a good watch as well. Just how much hard work he's done and gotten up there, and just the way he's always been. Uh, we need more R-Truth. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I would I think
Can we not handle
you
R-Truth?
can't that could be his, like you can't handle our
R-Truth.
truth. That should be his little. Although I don't know if they can use that line, but
Well, I mean, sure they could. R. They just put the R in.
that's right. Throw the R in there, and it's a different line. You can't handle our truth.
R-Truth. R.
Our
It's like you saying WWE.
yeah, I got the case of Kurt Angle's. I still like I watch every time I've seen Kurt Angle talk about WWE, he's just like WWE, WWE, WWE. I'm like, Kurt, what's going on? Is it like the neck? What's happening, baby? Like, talk to me. Like, what's going on? But he can't say it. I guess we're doing the Raw thing, but we're gonna get to our swamp fight, and I'm very careful how I word that because it wasn't a match.
Right. And they didn't sell it as a match. So
Never. It was never a match.
fight. So whatever. I don't know.
I think we're late. Oh,
Oh, there goes my light.
oh,
Okay.
oh.
I'll go over here now.
Oh, did your light just die?
Yep.
Oh, not now. It looks like you are still in the swamp fight.
Yeah. I can just switch down.
Big D has gotten Big D's streaming right now from the Wyatt compound.
Pound.
That's right. He is sitting in that chair.
Just change location, I guess.
Oh.
Anyway,
Dude, if yeah, I'm talking to a plant right now. That's great.
so there we go. A little better.
That's great. Yeah, so Big D is at the Wyatt compound. He is testing the chair that Braun Strowman was tied on. Loosely, but let's stick to Raw for now.
Yeah, there really isn't much.
Yeah.
To say about the women's.
As I was saying that, I'm like, what else happened on Raw? Well,
Yeah.
Randy Orton and Big Show. It was a good match.
Yeah, it was, and it took like when at the ending, when they really he really went to town on. I just want to say that DDT off of that hanging DDT, bro. Like, man, Big Show was holding on so hard to not fall, and then when he dropped him, that was a good drop.
Oh, that was great.
Give up Big Show. I mean, and to put and then I thought of you. Your giants and versus smaller guys. I mean, Randy Orton's not as bad as like a Rey Mysterio or I don't know, any other skinny, short wrestler, but just a small guy just dominating a big guy
Dolph
like that.
Ziggler.
But Randy Orton is that guy that can take that axe to a giant and just chop him down slowly, and then just take his head off.
I'll tell you what, man. I didn't used to be a big fan of Randy Orton, but during the coronavirus and this, whatever this era is, like Corona era,
right?
I think Randy's been keeping up as far for me as a fan. He's been keeping up like something worth watching, and also Bray Wyatt. Those two guys have been like the girls too, but Charlotte Flair went down, so that the girls are not for me as much anymore. But yeah, Randy Orton's been great.
Yeah, I mean, minus that WrestleMania match, but that probably wasn't his fault.
I don't even know what to think of that match, man. That was just 45 minutes of like, oh my god.
Well, we've gotten to the point where we bring it up because it's just it just comes up with the story because it's still that same feud, but it's really showcased Randy Orton. I like the fact that he's getting this little extra spotlight for now. I mean, maybe it's ironic the way that Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton are just blowing up on each of their own shows until they end up somehow on the same show, and then you get that huge clash.
Yeah, you were talking about that at the last pay-per-view.
At some point, yeah, it's gonna happen at some point. So, but yeah,
they've clashed before.
It's on Raw.
MVP, and so Apollo Crews apparently has a neck injury now.
Right.
Shelton Benjamin is a 24/7 champ.
Not for long, I don't think. I don't know. We'll see.
Not much more than that.
Yeah, no. I mean, well, then just more on the women's as far as who's gonna win that match next week. I might have to end up going with Sasha. Um, unless unless this is when unless Bailey does end up costing Sasha the match, and then maybe this is
This
that
is the
maybe this is the you know that this 4 or 5 week hard push for this SummerSlam fight. Um, especially with them emphasizing, you know, even if pretty much specifically pointing out Bailey as far as interfering. Um, but then again, what if it's Kyrie saying that it cost Oscar the title? So obviously, it seems to be better if Sasha and Bailey did, but and just imagine if Kyrie saying, I don't know what's going on with Kyrie saying. Like I heard, like I said, she was gonna be done with an injury and retire, and now she's been on Raw for 3 straight weeks or so wrestling. Now you got Shayna Baszler watching, real close. So what's gonna happen? What's happening there? Um,
yeah. I don't know. I'm not huge on Shayna Baszler.
no, neither is Vince McMahon. They've been circling the world of just rumors or whatever that he's not high on her anymore. So that's kind of why you really haven't seen her on TV much. Um, but now that she is, I mean, obviously there's something up. So there's something that's going to happen with her. So, but I don't know.
Has she been on NXT or was she on
No,
Raw? I missed it.
yep, just Raw.
I missed
Just
it.
Raw. She was in the back. She was in the, so it was like during the match, they did one of those stupid. While the match is going on, it zooms out and you see Shayna Baszler watching, and then here comes the little interview with Shayna Baszler as the match is going on at the same time.
Yeah, I missed that.
Pretty much like asking her, is there something about the match that she's invested in or something, whatever, and she said, well, she said something about a shark being invested in all the fish in the sea or something like that. So she's hungry. She feels that she deserves to be in the spotlight of the women's division. So so I think someone's going to come up with that. Does that lead to a triple threat match? Maybe.
Not excited about it. Sorry.
Right. Right. Then I don't know. I feel like if that happens, then they're gonna really push Shayna Baszler, like they were kind of in the beginning until I don't know what happened with her, but man, she won that elimination chamber and then just flatline.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's like it's. So when I look at sincerity. Like, are these people actually? Is this person sincere? Like, you can see that on somebody if they're sincere or not. Like, I don't know how else to say it. And she it's like somebody's telling her, okay, keep grinding your teeth, keep flexing your teeth, keep getting angry. You're angry. Like, it's like somebody's asking her. Like, I don't know, man. It just feels like there's a lot of these people are trying to act.
right.
That's what it feels like, and I can't. I'm out.
That seems to be the glory land of being a WWE superstar is going Hollywood. They're emphasizing that.
Damn it, Rock. Hey, man, I often wonder how much Stone Cold and The Rock had to do with the downfall of the product.
Right. Of how good they were.
Yeah. Well, not just how good they were, but upping the ante. You know, they were always trying to one-up each other, and eventually that's how you go from, super kick
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
you take it to that level that no one can reach. Uh,
I mean, but you just realize how rare.
yeah,
Uh,
and also another thing too is that era pretty much just went dead and just dropped. There wasn't like a transitional kind of thing.
well, it seemed to have dropped after they went. So, what year did they go public? Because I feel like that's probably about the time when Stone Cold started singing with Kurt Angle when he was hurt. If you remember that, like that's when I was starting to phase out. Like he was singing with Kurt Angle.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing too. I kind of fizzled out a bit at the same time, um, and then that's when I was in. I might have been like senior year of high school, so like around like yeah maybe like 11 years, maybe like 2002 ish, 2003, maybe like 2001, like my high school years a little bit. I kind of phased out of it, and so when I got back into it, there was guys like John Cena and Batista, Randy Orton, these guys were there, and I'm like, who the heck are these guys?
Yeah, the
Uh,
Evolution.
yeah, it was just like that. So within that couple of years, that's just like, so yeah. So I wish I could go back and just wonder what really turned me off to it. It could have been, be my adolescent years and not like, just not watching TV or something. But yeah.
Hmm.
But no. So as far as Raw goes, I don't think there was anything left really.
I don't know
I
if
think
you guys can hear my mic. I'm sorry.
a little bit. It's all good though. Um, I think we hit all the main talking points.
Yeah, let's move on. Enough of Raw. Sometimes it feels like it's going in raw. Terrible joke. Sorry.
I'll pull on a Gollum and do a little Lord of the Rings reference, but I'll hold off on that for another day.
Okay. Okay. I barely heard what you said there, so or actually didn't hear part of it. But you had a reference.
Yeah, that's gonna be Gollum and say a line from Lord of the Rings, but
Oh, you're gonna give me
I
some Lord of the Rings?
can't, you can't do it right now. But it was the raw and wriggly of the fish that Gollum was eating.
I don't. I am not, dude. I do not remember Lord of the Rings. I wasn't a big fan when they came out. Did you like it? I assume you liked it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I read all the books and all that, so
You okay? So you did you watch the Clerks?
yes,
You watched the Clerks too?
yes.
And you know the whole Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars um, speech that Randall had, I think.
Yeah, but no. I only saw it once.
Oh, okay. So it was like that. Like they just had an argument, and we're digressing right now. But they had an argument over which trilogy was better. You know, there's
Uh-huh.
only one trilogy, and because this guy showed up with the ring, and the other guy behind the counter had a ring. It's like one ring to rule them, one to unite them, and all that. And this, and then yeah, this one of the two clerks jumps in and is like, "There's only one trilogy, you know, and it's the Star Wars trilogy." Oh my God. I wasn't a huge fan of. I never read them, you know.
Right.
So I read The
Yeah,
Hobbit, and I was forced to read The Hobbit, so it was really a bad experience.
you kind of had to. The Hobbit was not an easy book to read. You know, I remember trying to read that, and I would have to restart it all the time because it started off real slow, and then it picked up. But I had read those books way prior to seeing the movies. So Um, and that just goes back to like my D&D days
Oh,
as
you
a
used to do
kid.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, it's still kind of, I mean,
Yeah.
still dabble sometimes, but yeah,
Oh
a little
man,
bit.
I haven't played that at all. I used to see the kids doing that at the back of comic book stores. I don't know if
Right,
you did
right.
that.
No, it was mostly we just had our own like room at school where we would just go and hang out.
Um, okay, well, uh, I assume you like Star Wars
Anyway,
too, right? Just no, you don't.
no, not really.
You're the Lord
No,
of the
I'm not.
Rings people.
I guess so, but yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not like a geek about it, but if Star Wars wasn't around, I mean, whatever.
I see. I gotta just give me 1 second. I'll be
No,
right back.
I'm not. I'm no Star Wars. I'm not a Trekkie. Uh, so yeah. Again, anyone out there watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you hit that
All right,
subscribe button.
here we go.
Hit that notification button.
Sorry about that. I had to flip a switch on because I had to plug in my laptop, and it's a switch on outlet. And I see myself jumping into bed
Oh,
now because we're a little bit on a delay. Whoop! There I go. All right, so it's okay, Big D. I still love you, brother. I'm a full-on Star Wars geek. It's not that I hate Lord of the Rings. I don't. Uh, but whatever you grow up with, I understand, man. But anyway, all I guess this whole thing was about that line that you're gonna give me because it was gonna go over my head.
right. Yeah. We just we were just talking about it
Oh,
being raw. So yeah.
well, yeah, because I'm
Oh, the wormholes we create, and
the digressions we
we
go
just
to
fall
go through.
fast.
Oh, Dios mío. Okay, let's keep moving though. Let's keep moving. Um, okay, so let's get to this swamp fight, man. So you had a chance to chew on it a little bit. You didn't watch it again, but did you sit there and think about it? Uh,
Yeah.
'Cause that night, man, I was in bed thinking about the swamp fight and just going and then going through it in my head and just going, what the hell did I just watch?
Right. Um, it was just again. It was a story. It was rough. It was it was Braun Strowman's story of very similar to John Cena, like the Firefly Funhouse match. That was the journey of John Cena, kind of going back to the beginning. This was a lot of references of Braun Strowman uh, going back to the beginning. Um, the whole, again, I was really surprised that they brought up Alexa Bliss um, because of how close they had gotten, and when they had the mixed tag team competitions going on. Um, they kind of like played that like as if like the almost like that love angle. Of, it was just it's just everything happens for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, in my eyes, Bray Wyatt won that fight. Because the next time that I mean, when are we going to see Braun Strowman again? Like, is this like that's just he fell in the lake, and so did Bray Wyatt, and then the Fiend came out. Um, so when are we going to see Braun Strowman? And when we do, what Braun Strowman are we going to see? I think we're going to see the monster among them. Uh, just the monster that is Braun Strowman.
Is he gonna be a heel? That's what we're talking about.
I really, yeah, especially if it's going, you know, going back to the beginning, uh, rewriting that history or whatever he wants to do with Braun, bring him back home, black sheep, then yes, he's gonna be a heel.
Okay. Uh,
Um, yeah, there's just I again, this will probably be the most my most looking forward match. The thing versus Strowman. Um, to forget that. Who knows what's gonna happen? We don't know. We
I'll
don't
tell you
know
what's
what's
gonna
gonna
happen. You
happen.
want to know what's gonna happen? I'll tell you right now what's gonna happen, Big D.
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Because
Okay, so let's.
I want to know what happened to John Cena.
Oh well,
So
John Cena. He's gonna come out of the lake and he's gonna be Fruity Pebbles now. He's gonna be the Fruity Pebbles character. It's gonna be great. Um,
bam.
he's gonna be selling milk again against coronavirus. Um, it's where does he go? I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with John Cena. That might have been his last match. I wouldn't be surprised, but he'd probably come back. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about there. But I'll tell you what's gonna happen with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt or the Fiend. So Goldberg beat the Fiend for the Universal Championship rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know what happened to WrestleMania 36,
Mm-hmm.
where Goldberg lost in like 2 minutes.
Right.
How the hell does the Fiend even stand a chance against Strowman? Strowman, whatever. I cannot say his name either. Um, I guess it doesn't have to make sense, but like that's still fresh in a
Right.
lot of fans' heads. And also, well, yeah, I think that I don't know, like it's kind of a weird predicament to be in now. Um,
So is it like a more of a fight with them, not against them kind of thing?
but the Fiend doesn't need Strowman.
Right. No. No. And the whole thing is I think that was just creating Strowman as for at least for where I'm going. Uh, Strowman becoming heel and that monster. Yeah.
So yeah, I think most likely what's going to happen is that Strowman is going to change, and then Bray Wyatt and him are going to part ways, just how he parted ways with uh, everyone else he beat. Yeah,
Right. Right.
and then it would actually not be in WWE's best interest to put those two against each other, especially if they're two
Right.
of the most powerful forces. You might get one pay-per-view out of it, but whoever wins,
Right.
because
Does it? I mean, is that going to lead to a Wyatt family thing again? Um, I kind of don't think so because I think that Bray Wyatt, um, the cult leader Bray Wyatt that we saw at Extreme Rules, I don't think we're going to see him again. I think we only did to complete that story of Strowman going
changing.
back to where he became. Yeah. So I don't think we're going to see the cult leader Bray, and I don't see. Once again, I don't. And then when I think about it, I don't see Funhouse Bray having a relationship with, or like a faction or anything with other people. I mean, but then again, who knows? Maybe it's with everybody going home, um, maybe we will start seeing um, a faction, the which there which there's a hashtag that was going around a month or two ago of the cult of Wyndham,
Cult
um,
of what?
which is
Wyndham.
Wyndham, which is Bray Wyatt's real last name. Um, but there's a whole this cult of Wyndham that may be forming down the line at some point. But yeah, that's a little farther off of
Well, okay, so I'm trying to figure this out, and maybe it's not for me to figure out, but if like for instance, they're driving home key phrases on Raw. Like I'm listening all these so. One was the Legend Killer. I mean, they're just slapping you in the face with it. Okay. But on the other hand, it's it feels like all the Wyatt stuff has a lot of interwoven things in there, and a lot of little details and a lot of little continuing stories that I don't feel like the creative is capable of. It feels like this is more like his own doing than it is whatever creative is doing for him. Like it feels like a two totally different tracks, if that makes sense.
right, right.
So I don't know.
And again, that's just that's so hard to even tell, or even really to, yeah, because it's been under his control like the whole way. I mean, at least like
Oh,
98%
that's
of it.
been great, man.
But
That's been great. I think um, I don't know who we're talking. There he is. I think we're talking to your thigh right there.
gotta get my
What you got?
water,
Oh, man.
and then I got
That's some clear liquid, aka water, for our PG-13
I got
audience.
some flavor. I got my clear water and then my
Oh,
grape juice.
look at you! Is you trying to pee good?
I'm
Always.
always just a lot
That's
of
good,
water.
man. Just keep that water in.
Um,
Yeah, most people like
no,
dehydrated.
the whole thing about it is we don't know. We don't. He's not going to let us really know what's going on. That's why there could be millions of things that could happen. Um, it's almost like a uh, like a puzzle where there's only one way to solve the puzzle, and only one person knows it. Only one person knows that the combination. People can try and figure it out all they want, but they're not going to be able to. I feel like that's just the whole Bray Wyatt story. One person knows everything that's going to happen.
Well, I'm glad it does seem different than anything else. Okay, and that's just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, so there is some creative. It seems like there's some creative being given to the actual wrestler. I don't know what they call them, superstars now. It seems like there's some
Yes.
credit actually being given to them, and some creative given to them. But it seems like there's just so much like tightness around a lot of the other stuff, and it's like, oh my god, it's like this could be great, but I got to talk about a few things. Then now that I had time to digest a little bit, and
Hmm.
first of all, I was excited that they actually had the Fiend on there at the end.
Yeah.
That was that a baseball bat?
Giant, giant. Come on, you know what it
It's a
is.
scratcher. Uh,
Back scratcher.
that's our third member, the back scratcher. I don't think people need to understand that you got to reach vast areas.
Right. Yeah. And it feels awesome.
That's great. Uh, we should call it the little fiend, the scratcher, the mini fiend. Yeah.
We'll think of
Okay. That's
something.
obviously that nickname didn't stick. I tried. Okay. So first of all,
Yes. So
the
the
fiend
fiend
showing up
showing
was
up,
was great.
which I told
Huh?
you not to worry. I told you have no fear. I told you have no fear. The fiend will be there, and
Well, I
he
hope so.
was.
Like I was even checking the store because I was texting. So off screen, I was texting Big D. I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like the Fiend hasn't shown up in like 3 months. I don't know. I don't know what the hell. Like they might not be using him. I don't want them to screw up the Fiend because that would really like ruin my love of the whole thing. Because I think the Fiend is just head and shoulders above everything that they have out there right now. Um,
Yeah.
and I guess they're using him sparingly, which is wise because here we are, like I paid for like 3 months worth of WWE Network, uh, just waiting on the Fiend, waiting on how they're gonna use the Fiend. So it's great. I was happy about that. So I'm definitely a mark for that. So I'm aware of it. But considering all these cinematic things that WWE has had, uh, and they're just getting started, so I'm gonna have to cut them a little slack, okay? But it feels like whoever's making this, um, there is some like amateur shit going on, man. Uh, like
Hmm.
for instance, well, first of all, in multiple shots, there was like shadows of people. You know what? Like just
Yes.
from cameramen and the boom mic, uh, in just in the background moving around, and it's like okay, that just doesn't like they shot this really fast. It seems like that just doesn't like that takes me out. If you're gonna make something cinematic, that's gonna take me out. Uh, when Strowman was tied to a chair, like he could so easily slide his arms under. Like I mean, it looked like it wasn't even tight the chains, and it just seemed like this was
Hmm.
like somebody watched like Rocky and Bullwinkle or some old school cartoons or old school movies where shit was pretty hokey, and they thought that that was okay. We'll just keep that chain around him like that. Like that to me, it was like it just took me out of it. And then the like
Right.
Bray Wyatt talking was like you could have cut that like so much more if that makes sense. Like I just like but
Right. The talking I didn't mind because that's Bray Wyatt right there. He's the way that he talks and all that.
with all due respect for
But
like to me, I was gonna say I had it on closed caption, so that was kind
mhm.
of like okay. I was watching it, I was reading it. I did not hear what he was talking about, but still, it seemed like a long segment. That wasn't too bad. The guy who just showed up randomly and got burnt,
Yeah,
that was weird.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and the like, I liked how they did the title at the end, but I also didn't because they're like, okay, it's over, the pay per view's over, and all of a sudden, oh, it's not over. Here's the fiend. It turns red, and the fiend comes out. It's like, okay, this is every horror movie out there. All right, cool, but
Right.
come on. And then we cut to Undertaker, like that shot of the Undertaker, right as the fiend comes up, and it really kind of like, well, wait a minute, was that it? Oh, it is it. They're still playing something
Yeah.
afterwards.
And I think they did that at the last pay per view as well. They brought up that they brought up that copyright little logo and all that, and it was like an extra. 3 or 4 minutes of the show. Um, but yeah, but I did like the way that it ended. Um,
So, but those are the things that kind
yeah,
of upset me a little bit because I'm like, you want to be cinematic, and this is looking pretty good, but there are just some things that they're doing. I'm like, who's actually like? I mean, I would love to, and maybe I should do this. I don't know, just for fun. We'll do it on the. I don't know. What do you think? But just taking that match and then just kind of breaking it down and just like, okay, these are the cool things, and this is why this is like doesn't make any sense, and this is why this doesn't make any sense, and just from a general fan point of view, versus like because it seems most of uh, uh, the other creative stuff is really not that detailed. You know, it's very much like I'm gonna
right,
kick your ass. What, I'm better than you, and that kind of crap. Like it's the same thing, and it's very kind of blunt. And then this is so much more detailed. You know what I mean?
right,
And so
yeah,
interwoven, or whatever. Those are the issues of V and W's, man. Because I'm foreign, you might not be able to tell, but I screw up V's and W's. Interwoven. There we go. Woven,
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 woven. Oh, whatever.
woven,
Keep moving.
woven.
Intertwined. There you go. How's that? I don't have an accent. I have a library.
Exactly, and it's like it's tough. It's tough. Like Quentin and I always say, it's always tough if it's somebody that's watching it for the first time. If they're tuning in, it's especially with that WrestleMania match. If they're tuning in for WrestleMania only, they're not gonna know what the hell's going on. They're not. It's not gonna uh, fly for them. They're just not gonna get it. Like it's a very invested
Can I?
storyline. It's just,
I just had well,
you know,
this is an epiphany, and maybe this should have been something very just blatantly obvious. But now that I think about it, it
mhm.
seems like there's different. It's like they're trying to hit every demographic throughout the whole show, and they have different storylines for different demographics and different levels of involvement for different demographics. It's like they're trying to hit. There's kids in there, and then all the like darker stuff happens later. So
Right.
which is like this.
Right, that does factor into you know the whole uh, TV thing. As you're later on in the show, you can start being more risque or whatever. Um, and maybe that is why they're when you see the Fiend or whatever that is toward it's like right at the very end of the show.
Which begs the
I don't
question:
know.
maybe today's wrestling is not supposed to be watched all in one bite.
How many bites?
It's not well defined. It's not well defined.
Right.
It is very much
Right.
still, in a sense, very much structured as of one show. But how do you know? Like, are people actually watching the TV? Because I mean, more and more people are cutting the cord. So how many people are
Right.
actually watching the TV, and how many people are actually looking at the highlights or watching parts of it? Um, I'm wondering all those things because I feel like they are paying attention. Just listening to Vince McMahon talk
Mm.
in the Stone Cold's podcast, they are paying attention, and they may be playing a game where it's like, yeah, we're just going to use TV uh, to bring more fans in, but really, what are the end product is the network,
Mhm.
and then all the stuff that's basically on the network. Like they have a Netflix of wrestling,
Right.
and
Exactly.
then I wonder if they're just
Exactly.
doing the TV deals just to get as many people as they can before TV really goes away. I mean, TV is
Right.
overall is it's
Hmm.
antiquated at this point. And I wonder if we'll be seeing like segments, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like are like all
Yeah, like
pre-recorded?
watch like okay, I want to watch the storyline between Strowman and the Fiend, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
go throughout like in real time. Yeah.
Okay. Huh? I don't know.
Just a question because it seems like it. It seems like
Yeah, I mean, well, because they're going to have to continue to evolve. They're going to have to continue to change. So, uh,
which then I wonder about AEW if
yeah,
they're just playing two different games.
right, right. Which I mean, I've always with AEW, I just that's not something that's going to last. Keep up. They're already losing. I'm pretty sure I haven't actually. You know what? I haven't seen the ratings in a while, but I'm pretty sure NXT has to be destroying them every week
NXT
now.
beat them a couple of weeks
The
ago, so I know that.
product that NXT is putting out right now is just ridiculously good. Um, now, I mean, they already, Keith Lee he had two titles, and now he doesn't anymore. He's got he gave up he gave up the one title. He didn't want to be selfish, and he wants the rest of the talent to have a chance to
And
be a
we got a
champion.
good
So
baby again.
there's now a tournament.
But he's always a good baby, though.
Yep,
He was always a
yep.
baby.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. He's got. I mean, he's gonna be. That's a superstar right there. That's a but anyway, um, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for this story. And I just feel that, especially with it coming up to SummerSlam, there has to be almost every week something with it. Whether it's not, maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be the Fiend, but I think the Fiend has to be more involved leading up to this, especially with him being in the match. Bray Wyatt every single week, Strowman every week with Bray Wyatt. Um, I just think that's needed to just really have this be possibly the main event at SummerSlam.
Strawman and Wyatt? You think? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, okay, we'll see. We'll see.
yeah. It all really depends on the writers right now. That's really what I mean. Are we gonna have the women's? Are we gonna have Ziggler McIntyre? Are we gonna have Wyatt Strowman or Bray Wyatt or whatever Fiend Strowman?
Do you
Um,
think that whole stipulation between Ziggler and McIntyre, where McIntyre is now not saying what stipulation he wants, do you think that whole thing has as much weight as it did when Ziggler got to name his stipulation?
no, and I think that's where it kind of that's where I think you can kind of predict that it's going to backfire on McIntyre, and that Ziggler may uh, at least maybe not win the title or something, but keep like get a advantage over McIntyre and have that leading to a huge match
Mm.
at SummerSlam. Because I mean, I that might be the best feud right now. Maybe not the best story yet, but the best feud, best match. Going off of best match, I could see Ziggler and McIntyre. Like that, this could be a potential match of the year nominee.
Oh, you think? Oh, okay. Well, the previous match it was pretty good, but it was a match of the year.
Hey, I mean, I don't know how many other matches are we going to put in that nominee category of best match of the year so far? But that could be something that we can
I got one.
discuss about.
Yeah, let's write. Oh God,
But
is that what you said? Oh God, I'm
but
gonna write this down though. But yeah, match of the year.
No, I didn't say oh
Oh,
God, but no, that's a that we should really do, like, especially towards the end of the
okay,
year,
I'm writing it down.
um, almost like award show kind of thing, match of the year or whatever. Um,
We're really hopeful here that by the end of
have
the
our
year
like
we're gonna have an
have
award
our,
ceremony.
have our own Sammy Awards.
Oh yeah,
The
Jobber
jobber.
reports or Jobber the Hut. um, yeah, hopefully, like it's like we're just giving awards to the people who actually didn't get coronavirus this year. That's gonna be Heath Slater
So far, we might not. We don't know yet. There might be some
and
cases
May
popping
Young.
up.
Uh, May
Hey, young.
Young. All right.
Young. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, uh, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania 36. That was a good match.
yeah, yeah.
I could have watched it with the
It's fine.
sound off though.
If I had to give one, I don't know if I could right now. Or actually, just not. Uh, hmm, yeah, I won't be able to
Randy
give
and
one right
Edge?
now.
No.
No,
but but
that was
that
not the
was the
greatest match
wait
ever.
what?
That was the best wrestling match ever. I'm sorry.
I'm
Um,
sad. Sad face.
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to, because I would have a feeling I would pick a match that would be in NXT, and I'm not sure which match that would be. Um, maybe it could have been definitely a possibility between a Dijakovic and Keith Lee match with those guys, but they work so well
Hmm.
together, and they've had they've had like 2 or 3 5-star matches against each other. But I think it would end up being an NXT match right
Hey,
now. Match, WWE match of the
well, Lee
year.
seems
So,
to be just.
um,
I'm excited about Lee,
yeah,
and it's just
yeah.
just
I
reading
mean,
his story, man.
I
Just watching his story.
I can't wait to see him go up against the top guys. I mean, and who are they going to be by the time he? And right now, obviously, that whole playing field is Raw, SmackDown, NXT. It's just all almost even. Um, but again, but just that the name, a Keith Lee versus a Randy Orton, or Keith Lee versus a Strowman.
McIntyre, that would be a good match. I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Um,
Drew McIntyre's growing on me.
no, I'm glad. I'm glad that's happened.
He seems like a legit guy. And also just shout out to my boy Cesaro who started talking in the
Yes, I
pre-show.
can't wait for SmackDown. I can't wait
Come
for
on, Cesaro
SmackDown.
could be a star. God, okay, I'm gonna stop.
But that whole SmackDown intro is I really enjoyed that old school, like, get the wrestlers talking about their matches coming up.
Yeah, Big D texted me on
Yeah,
that, and he said
backstage.
he was teary-eyed. Was that?
Oh, I think I had something like
Oh,
having
okay. Sorry,
goosebumps or
sorry.
something.
Goosebumps.
I was really excited. I'm like, oh, sweet, something new, something fresh, something that they never done really. Like, and I thought it was like, because usually they might do it with, like, I think it started off with AJ Styles and Matt Riddle. I don't know if Matt Riddle even
AJ
talked, but
did.
it
Yeah.
was AJ Styles. But usually it would be like one person, and then it would like go into the intro, and then, but no, they went all across the board of New Day and then Cesaro and Shinsuke, and they just went through everything, all the matches coming up. So that's just something that, a preview to the whole show. That was really a nice setup, to set up
Hey,
that
dude.
show. So I wouldn't mind keep doing that kind of. I mean, they might not do it
I just
continuously
want to
like
say the
that, but
lighting behind you right now, because you got TV.
I-
It looks like you're at
yeah,
at that cabin. Big D still at
And you
the.
can't really see it. Oh, you might have caught him. You
Oh,
might have
the
caught him. Oh
Fiend.
boy.
Oh,
Oh
look
boy.
at him.
Oh, there he is. Yeah,
Yes,
I got.
literally. That was awesome. I said it and it was happening. I can't hear your background, man. That was great. That was perfect.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like boom, boom, boom,
So
boom, boom,
we're.
fireworks.
It's safe to
Um,
say we're gonna have our Slammy Awards, right?
I think so, yes, definitely. Some type of word. Uh, if you guys want to suggest names, leave the yeah, let's put name the award show down in the comments.
Everything
Also, we
goes.
have our Prime versus
That's coming.
Prime coming up. Let us know your Prime versus Primes, dream matches that you never got to see, or
Or they weren't
yeah, just
prime at their prime of their career. We might have seen the match, but they weren't
right,
top of the
right,
line versus
right.
top of the line, which is most Hulk Hogan matches since the 90s.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I was never really a big Hogan fan, and I think that's just because I don't know, just wasn't. That's my answer right there. I just wasn't.
You weren't a Hogan fan. What's wrong with you, man?
I still had the pillow guy, whatever they call them. Uh,
What, the thing you snuggle with when you
the,
sleep?
the Russell buddies or whatever, wrestling buddies. Um, yeah, I had a Hulk Hogan one. Um,
I had a blow up Stone Cold, and that just sounds wrong now that I said it. But it was like one of those punching bags. But it was literally a blow up
right,
Stone
right,
Cold.
right.
You're like, oh. He made it into one of our matches.
A blow up
Yep,
Stone
yep.
Cold now. That's the thing. Like, while I'm where I'm at right now, I should really go find. I want to really go find my box of old figurines.
Oh, you could do a
Um,
little figurine pay per view, like what we think is gonna happen, and it's gonna be like Drew
a little
McIntyre, but it's
showcase.
actually Hulk Hogan, but you painted his trunks black.
Who would it be? I don't know. I don't know who would Drew McIntyre be. If I had no
But that'd be
wrestler
funny, man. It just like
figure. Yeah,
who's gonna win, and they just like slam each other. Just whoever like Drew McIntyre, you say he's gonna beat Dolph Ziggler, we just have a little animation and slamming Dolph Ziggler down.
this is how we'll do our predictions. But so, without further ado,
I'm ready.
uh, we'll get into our Prime versus Prime. I'm not sure how many
Oh,
you
I'll just
came
say
up
one or
with.
two, man. We could do one or two. We'll talk about a little bit about it.
As I said last
Yeah.
week, it was a hard project for me because I don't really have I never really think of dream matches per se. Because I just feel like it's the story that build matches. So yeah, I guess you could dream a
I
story,
stole one from you, by the way,
a
just so
story.
you know.
Just never did. Oh, but yeah. So I mean, I'll definitely I'll let you lead it off. Um, I have three
Uh,
written down.
I have, so I'm going to throw the first one that we talked about before, but my mid Carter love, as I call it. So, it will be Fandango versus Disco Inferno.
And I love the reference of Disco Inferno, and
Come on, Disco was
um,
over. I like, I don't care who you are,
it
Disco
was
was over.
oh man, such a
Disco fever!
that was a good character.
Disco fever!
He wasn't that good of a wrestler, but I mean, he
He
was
was
over.
over. It would be a short match. It's like each one would do a
Right.
move and then they would dance and then they would just
Yeah.
dance off against each other and then
Did
one's gonna kick the other one in the balls.
did you have a thing with Drew Smiley, a
Oh,
dance
I
off
don't
or something?
remember.
I want to say he had a little dance off thing with Drew Smiley because he was known for dancing.
He's a
So,
disco dancing
um,
fool,
but no,
man. Come on, you. I do not
and
know
you
why
got
I remember this.
the
Yeah, that's why I
uh,
remember. I remember trying to emulate that when I was whatever in the '90s. It's like you just did a little twirl, boom, 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 boom. I'm not sure if he was really a dancer. Like he like Disco Inferno had like three dance moves total. And I didn't watch like I guess I enjoyed some WCW, but I don't know why I remember all these things. Like it stuck. Like out of all people in WCW, one of them that stuck was Disco Inferno and La Parca. La Parca.
mhm. Because even during those Monday Night Wars, WWE really didn't have those gimmicks that WCW
Oh no,
had.
yeah.
Uh, like they almost like swapped a little. Well, I mean, not as drastic as WWE was with the cartoon era, I guess I'd call it. Because I feel like you could just put out the whole early '90s, mid '90s, and turn that into a cartoon. They're all cartoon characters.
It was more cartoony.
Um,
You're absolutely right. But you can I like
so,
Fandango. He was probably a better dancer than Disco Inferno. But I could just like this
right,
is like a
right.
3 minute match, you know, like the whole spectacle of the dance. Oh, what was that one guy that used to come out that had the whole party with him, like had all those like mascot suits and everything. Adam
Adam
Rose,
Rose, Rosebuds.
like he
Fun fact. Fun fact. But Braun Strowman was a
really.
Rosebud. Uh, yes, he was uh, a Roman gladiator. Um,
How
yeah,
perfect is
uh,
that? Like, why didn't Bray Wyatt go there?
well, the whole thing about the Rosebuds is like that. That was who's watching Raw and SmackDown and NXT live right now. Like those were those people. That talent. That's who the Rosebuds were.
Ah,
And Strowman he was still way down because Strowman didn't come through NXT. He
well,
didn't
yeah,
wrestle on NXT.
he's big, intimidating son of a gun.
He came right from developmental right up. So, but yeah, so fun little fact. Yeah, he was a Rosebud. So if you ever want to look up and see him dancing in the train,
Why
uh,
why didn't
yeah,
why didn't Bray Wyatt put him up for like okay, we're gonna go back to your roots where you came from, and it's just a rosebud
and just have him forced into like a conga line, like
in the swamp. It's like swamp, but it's all lit happy,
just
you
so
know.
right. Oh man. Well, I guess that was just that was whatever. We're not going to get into real details of why.
Well, let's get back to Fandango and Disco. So here's the
Yes.
deal.
So
Fandango and Disco for me, like 3 4 minute match tops. Okay, every move they land a move, they dance. The other guy lands a move, they dance. Eventually, one of them just kicks the other one in the balls. That's it. Over, they dance. It's really more of a show, like for the entrances and the little like showmanship in between and get out. It was like the mid card, you know, like you don't need a ton. Okay, it's just funny.
or, yeah, they end up helping the other person up, and or you know what? Hey, let's just dance together, and then everyone
Oh,
wins.
look at it. That's rosebuds right there.
If that's the case, then I would say Disco Inferno's the one kicking
Yeah, he
Fandango in
seems
the
like a
balls.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that cheap win because he was
He
kind of
was
like
heelish.
he was like a knockoff. Yeah, it was a knockoff role. Oh, Vegas Elvis kind of guy.
He lives in Vegas, by the way. I listened to him on a podcast not too long ago. Like,
Really,
yeah,
really, that's cool.
he's a smart
That's
guy.
cool.
Like, he's clever. He's I didn't know he was in
Oh yeah,
part he was in some creative there in WCW. I did not know that.
yeah, I bet. Not really surprised by that at all. Really, like guys like him, like or like what popped in my head was like Coco Cabana. I feel
And I
like
was like
or Colt
Copacabana. I
Cabana.
was like, wait a minute, that's
Uh,
that.
oh no, well, he does the Coco Cabana,
Colt Cabana.
um, but no, something like that. Like I just have him as like a similar kind of guy for some reason, but yeah, I'm not surprised that he was involved with talent and all that.
Well, who do we? So we both picked Disco to win that.
Yeah, I guess yeah. But
Yeah,
they
they
both
both
win.
win because yeah,
They
neither
both
one
win.
of them was well. What?
I don't remember Disco Inferno's
I
and
don't know either.
finisher or anything because I don't remember really winning a match. Uh, Fandango probably had the biggest pop of the two. I mean, Fandango debuted at WrestleMania. Um,
I can only imagine like if they were to wrestle in their prime, like they'd probably both get like big pops. But that would fizzle out. That's why it's a short match, man. It'll fizzle out.
right.
See, it's not what you think, folks. It's not what you think. We're digging outside the box here.
That you know now.
So what do you got, man? You got one of them?
I guess I'll go with my. I think I mentioned it last week as well. But my favorite one that I came up with was Mr. Perfect versus Dolph
Hmm.
Ziggler. Just that arrogance, that that perfect. They think that they're perfect, and I think that'd be a really good match. Um, it's a lot of wet hair because I mean this is this
No,
is
they
Ziggler
have the
with
same
curls.
hair, man. Don't
So
they?
and they both I think they
That's
both
right.
chew gum.
And don't they flick
Uh,
their hair? Like, don't
you know,
they get their like hands to their hair and just flick it?
right. Yep, yep. Yeah. Sorry, the fiend is
Yeah,
going
yeah.
crazy over here
I mean,
again.
you're still
Uh,
Big D's broadcasting from the swamp. They just left them. They just left them after the
um,
show.
they both of these guys they can both sell. They can both sell. Nobody did a fisherman suplex like Mr. Perfect. That perfect plex. That was one of my favorite finishers growing up. I don't know why. It was just one of my favorite. I think it was just because it was so smooth. You get that fisherman suplex, and then just that. I don't know, just bringing those feet up on your toes and just looking at it, just wrenching that pin back. And you got the zigzag by Dolph Ziggler, which is another move that no one else does. Um,
Um,
I would have. I mean, I'm not sure how the match would go. In head, um,
well,
who would I have win?
I think Mr. Perfect would be a. Well, see, that's the thing. That's like almost like a battle of two heels.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it would depend if Bobby Heenan's in the corner, which I think he would have to be. Um, but no, Ziggler, he can play a good face. I mean, he's better as a heel, but he can do a good face. Um, but even as a face, he still has that confidence. It goes from arrogance to confidence, kind of thing. Um, they're both the same, but with one little whatever. But um, I would still give the win to Mr. Perfect in that perfect box.
I like that idea. I like Mr. Perfect and Dolph Ziggler. Because we know what he looks like in his prime right now, Dolph Ziggler, and he's a good wrestler, man. Like, overall, like, he may sell too much, but he was doing pretty good versus Drew McIntyre, so I don't... for me, like, I just have Mr. Perfect sitting versus, and then I have an empty spot. So Dolph Ziggler would be perfect. But you say Mr. Perfect wins? Because God knows Dolph Ziggler never wins.
Yeah. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. I mean, I still feel. No, the thing is, like, we're not gonna get into too much details, I guess. But
Yeah, I don't know all these people's move
yeah.
sets and things.
How many kick outs are you gonna
Oh,
have?
false finishes?
You know, there wasn't as many back in the day.
No. It's like
Yeah.
as soon as somebody hits their finisher, man, it's over.
Oh,
That was it. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. It was just like in the video game. It took a long time to actually
I
get to
think
that
Mr.
finisher.
Perfect would roll up
But then-
Dolph just because, like, this would be like one of those things where it's like he's older. He's just wiser, and he would just exhaust Dolph and then just roll him up like a schoolboy or something.
Yeah, he could. But no, you got one of that perfect box.
You gotta do what?
You got to win
Oh,
with the
okay.
perfect
So
box.
he would hit the perfect plex at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, or maybe we give Dolph. Well, what if we gave Dolph Ziggler a kick out of that finisher, but then Mr. Perfect rolls him up. Like they just kind of roll up and he rolls up right on top of him. Kind of like that heel finish, you know, like get those legs on the rope, you know.
Tights. Just grab.
That's
just grab
right.
A handful of
That's right.
tights.
How great is that?
Yeah.
Nowadays, faces, little babies do that.
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody does roll.
See, that's why I blame Austin. Austin was like the bad guy, good guy at the same time. He was the anti-hero. So now everybody thinks they can just roll everything up and smoke it.
Right.
I like that. Mr. Perfect versus Dolph Ziggler, man. I like that. We're creating our Prime v Prime pay-per-view here.
Pay-per-view. Oh, snap. The PvP.
PvP.
Sounds like I gotta go to the doctor now.
I got a HPV in my PPP.
Yeah, I got a case of
Yep.
Oh boy.
It's just you know what STDs are like. They're just like your dick gets sick, so you got to get like a little tissue and sneeze in it. You know. Okay, sorry, people. This is for kids. No.
Yeah, it's not bad though. That was our first mature.
Oh yeah, I'm
content.
sorry. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we got Mr. Perfect beating Dolph Ziggler, and we have Disco Inferno beating Fandango so far. Rolling right along, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna throw another curveball. I'm saving all the big guys for later, but I'm gonna throw up curveball and I'm gonna put La Parka versus Papa Shango. Chew on that.
Oh. I'm Papa Shango all the way. For me.
The voodoo
For me.
doctor.
I love Papa Shango. I love Papa Shango, but apparently he's one of the worst characters ever.
He was one of the very first characters that I even
love
like. When I found out about wrestling in Serbia first, Papa Shango was the. I was like, oh my, this is so cool. What is this? What is this shit?
Yeah, right, right,
So
right.
I don't even know like how things
Uh,
would work out here. I know La Parca's pretty big. He's huge in Mexico, man. He's still going, I think.
he is right. Uh, I thought I
He
saw
did?
he
Oh my
passed.
God.
I I think I saw when we're talking about the first time we started talking about Prime versus Prime, and I was going through that list of people that had passed. I think I saw LaParca on there. Maybe not. Maybe not. Um,
Okay, La Parca's Wikipedia.
and I just took your statement
Oh,
as far
he
as being big as a little because he was a pretty
he's
big
still
guy
alive,
too.
man. He's still alive. He's only 54.
Um,
He's only
was he?
54.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe I read it wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's alive. I'm like, what are you saying, man? La Parca was a big deal. He's dead? No. La Parca, ladies and gentlemen, La Parca is not dead. Um, but I don't even know how this would go. I just thought like these guys are so cool.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not too sure because
You
now I'm
are?
reading that he died.
I'm on Wikipedia, brother.
Yeah. CNN News, January 12th,
Really?
2020.
Has
54.
died after suffering.
Uh,
Okay, I lied. At age 54. Oh no.
yeah. Kidney failure.
Wow. No.
Sorry. Yeah. It's a horrible time. Like, it's a horrible time to
Kidneys failed. Yeah,
for that
his
to come up.
lugs. Oh, kidney failure. Wow. Wow.
I'm just really curious. I just had this playing on YouTube. Just a bunch. I had the Bray Wyatt stuff going on, and now there's a match, which I'm kind of intrigued. I might watch this after we're done, but I don't know when it's from, but it's Undertaker, John Cena, Triple H,
Oh,
Shawn Michaels, Big Show,
oh wow.
Chris Jericho.
I'm
Yeah.
still yet to watch the one with Shawn Michaels and DX, like the old DX versus the Kane and the Undertaker.
Oh, okay. The Saudi, the
Yeah.
Australian match or whatever. Yeah.
Well, let's so
Like
okay. So La Parka versus Papa Shango.
next.
Papa Shango wins
uh,
just because. We don't.
Just because he's gonna make Laparca
Oh
split
God,
blood.
no, you went there.
Again, I like Pop Shine. I thought that was an awesome character. He was actually the one figurine that I always wanted that I never got. Um, I really like that
Well, this is good
character.
to know. There's gonna be Papa Shango
Um,
figurine going your way now from the fans. Watch.
yeah, yeah. Send it to. I'll put my information in there. You can send it to.
Okay, well
Um,
that's just a quirky one, I guess. I
so
don't know those wrestlers well enough to really enact a finish. But I would assume
yeah,
that Papa Shango would
yeah.
use his voodoo powers and make La Parka dance and just dance himself to exhaustion. Or make La Parka pin himself.
There you go. With
All right, man, you got one
themselves.
more. We're almost at the
Um,
end. We're almost at 2 hours.
one more. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna pick the one that I just came up with recently. Um,
Oh damn.
Bob Backlund versus Kurt Angle, the
Shoot, stop.
amateur wrestling.
This would be a real
Yeah.
wrestling
Um,
match.
right. Right. I mean, and not like I mean, I know right off the bat, Kurt Angle is way bigger, but Bob Backlund in his prime, he was just always that little. I mean, he had the record for having the title the longest. Um, I don't recall how long it was, but he was that little like Mighty Mouse kind of character. So when it comes to like the size and all that, I don't really think that too much to do with it, especially with it being a submission. It's gonna be a submission match. There's no doubt about that. You got the chicken wing versus the ankle lock. Um,
Chicken wing versus the ankle lock. I'm
that just kind of, I mean, that was just kind of one of those things where I just came up with it. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, why not? Do a little shout out to Bob Backlund. I mean, um,
You got a Hall of Famer versus a Hall of
uh,
Famer, no? Is Kurt Angle a Hall of Fame yet?
yeah, I believe so. I believe so because I think he's been one of those guys that like flaunts his ring
So
all the time.
Bob Backlund is
Um,
his two reigns combined give him the third longest reigning WWE champion of all time,
yeah,
over
over. I
30
mean, I
years.
don't know.
Wow.
That's what I was gonna say too. I was like, wait, no, that just seems because that's like Mae Young or Fabulous Moolah
Mm.
status. But yeah, no, I was gonna say over 30 years. That's a long time. I mean, it'd be really cool to go back and just see who he fought to retain his title. Um, how many times did he beat Bruno Sammartino or something like
Bruno
that?
Sammartino
Trying to
is
think.
actually says here he was one of the so he was behind Bruno Sammartino and Hulk Hogan. So Hulk Hogan is the first. Bruno Sammartino is the
Oh,
second.
really?
Longest reigning WWE
This
champion. Yeah.
longest reign.
And you thought CM
Okay.
Punk would be in there, but
CM Punk. CM Punk.
hey,
CM Punk. Oh man, I'm in
yeah,
Chicago right
I'm
now.
gonna say I'm gonna write CM Punk down for my just to give me an idea who I want him CM Punk to wrestle.
I think I'm gonna pick to win that match
Oh
though,
yeah,
Kurt
oh yeah,
Angle.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just because, and that's also because I didn't really see Bob Backlund wrestle it like in his prime that much, but I feel like that would still be a good match.
Well, what do you
Um,
feel about pulling the Sean Brett thing and going the Iron Man, going 60-minute?
that'd be a good one too. That'd be a good one too. I mean, but then that could also be that the submission match could also go that long.
Oh, and they just don't submit. They just don't submit.
Just keep going. Yeah, yeah. Because I just see Backlund just getting out of the moves, just slipping out of them all the time, and then Kurt Angle climbing or inching to the ropes and getting to the ropes or whatever. But possible miscommunication on or like a miss hit on a back flip off the top rope turns into a chicken wing and then he gets out of it and Angle slams him and then gives him the good old
Ankle lock.
ankle lock, snaps his ankle like a chicken wing.
Ah,
Yeah, no,
yeah, yeah.
that was one I felt.
I like that. Well, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was pretty damn good during the Attitude Era, man. I really enjoyed Kurt Angle, so I don't know that much about Bob
He
Backlund, but
was right. Like, I remember Bob back when he had come back. Bob back when he came back. Bob came back. In the mid early '90s, it was like more mid '90s. Um, and I don't know, I think he did good when he
yeah, he
came
was he
back.
was a little bit. I remember him coming in and out too in the
And
2000s,
he
early.
started, right, yeah. Then he started getting weird.
Yeah, and
She was
annoying.
just old,
He was like yelling.
and and then he came back a couple of years ago as a manager type guy. Um, and I was like, yeah, that was probably like 5 years now, but he was in the corner of Eric, no, Derek, Eric, Derek Young. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he was like
Mm.
his mentor. So it was pretty cool to see him back on TV. And then he had He was all dressed up in the tie.
He was always like he stood up straight.
Man, oh, yeah, and he would go nuts when he was crazy. Like I just thought of him and like maybe him
Oh,
and Ric Flair. That, that'd be a
I
heck of a match.
wonder if they actually wrestled.
I wonder if that's right. Like that would be a good one. That'd be a great one actually. I think we just stumbled upon a diamond. Because that
I'm
sounds
writing Ric
that would
Flair
be a fun
down.
one.
I didn't even think of Ric Flair. There's not a single Ric Flair on my list. What the hell is wrong with me? It's because he probably wrestled everybody.
Right, right.
Not
Yeah,
in their prime
almost.
though, baby. Oh, you got Dusty
When
Rhodes. I'm
is
gonna put Dusty Rhodes down there.
we might even continue this and just have every once in a while we'll just throw in a little
Yeah,
PvP.
yeah, and it's like see, this is no big deal. Like this is whatever. I don't know La Parka and Papa Shango's movesets anymore. I know La Parka danced. Um, I never
Yeah,
really
yeah,
watched Bob Backlund
the,
wrestle, so I don't.
he had that Latino heat. Of course he did. Of course he
Latino
danced.
heat, mamacita. You want some Latino heat? Yeah, I gotta get Eddie Guerrero in there.
Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, we didn't even mention it because right off the bat we were like Chris
Oh
Benoit.
yeah, I've been trying to
We
shoehorn
didn't.
Chris Benoit into
It's like
something.
right.
I'm getting a good
Uh,
list, man. Now that we're talking, so our today's uh, PvP PPV is Disco Inferno versus Fandango. Disco Inferno wins. Then we had Mr. Perfect versus Dolph Ziggler. Mr. Perfect wins. He hits his suplex. Then we had La Parka versus Papa Shango, and Papa Shango wins. I guess I decided Papa Shango wins by making La Parka dance to death. Oh, I don't mean that like literally dance. That was a bad joke because La Parka just died. Um, that's sad, man. La Parka was cool.
yeah, no, I'm sorry that like news broke like
Oh,
that.
I'm like, wait, no, dude. He's only 54. They would do this to me.
But I'm on Wikipedia.
Oh, I'm not gonna be pulling from Wikipedia anymore. And our main event of the evening is Kurt Angle versus Bob Backlund. And Kurt Angle wins with a
Angle.
ankle lock after an angle slam with a chicken wing with an ankle lock that snaps his foot like a chicken wing because they're just different size. Although I don't know, Bob Backlund was
Did somebody?
6'1". Yeah, that's what it
Was he
says.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
really? Wow. He
yeah.
seems so
6'1",
smaller.
243. I don't know if those are real.
Wow.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not. I can't. I suck at heights.
he
If
wrestled
it's taller than
190,
that, like,
190 pounds in uh, in college. He was an amateur wrestler at North Dakota
oh.
State University.
Yeah, because I mean, he was. I mean, he was a pretty big. He was fairly big, like
Yeah, but he
muscle
wrestled
wise
190
too.
pounds, so
His name,
I doubt he would go to
like,
243 pounds. Like that's just
right, right.
what's
Yeah, that's
he's eating them Hulk Hogan
especially
cereal
especially if Braun Strowman is what
Wheaties, huh?
2 something. Braun Strowman's only, especially if Braun Strowman's only 2 something.
Yeah, Bob Backlund.
So
Oh, what? Anyway, that was our PvP PPV. I love that name. Nice going, Big D. You caught it.
thank you,
Uh,
thank you. Oh,
and
thanks, I caught.
yeah, I believe
I'll,
that we have come to the 2 hour mark, and we
A
covered
little,
quite a few
a
things
little over
today.
two.
So
Yeah, that was a good. I like this. Great show.
excellent. I enjoyed it. I like. I'll talk to you a little more off camera on just about. I don't know if I want like I'm talking about wanting to do that video where I analyze the all these cinematic matches. Um, but I'm gonna
Right.
need your expertise if I do that, which I might not. But anyway, you want to take us out, Big D?
Sure. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen,
Woohoo!
uh, everybody, thank you for watching. Everybody that's tuned in. Again, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification, so you guys know when we're on. Um, Get those comments, send your comments in, give us your PvP, PPV. Um, Let us know what's going on. Your dream matches that may or may not have happened in the prime. Um, yeah, and for this week, this is the job report, and I'm Big Dan. We got MJ, and we'll see you next time.